Hello, everyone. The AGM will start in 3 minutes. Well, in fact, we'll probably go ahead now if I get a nod from Jill. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kent area of NAFAS 59th Annual General Meeting. Before our President, Marilyn Marsh, formally welcomes you all, I just wanted to run through a little how this will work. I'm your facilitator for today, and I'm looking after the IT side of things. On your screen, you should see a pink slide, and at the side, the face of the person speaking. As we go through the AGM, there are various items where votes are required. At that time, Marilyn will ask for a proposer and a seconder. If you're willing to be one of these, please electronically raise your hands. You can't do this by physically raising your hands as we can't see you. To do it electronically, you need to go to the top of your screen if you're on a computer, where you will find that option. Or on a tablet, you need to press the screen and then the options will appear. There will then come a polling question on your screen, which will ask you a question and ask you to click yes or no, and then press submit. The poll will only be on the screen for a short period of time. There is a chat function on the screen. If you use that, please be aware that everyone can see it, and we are unable to answer questions via that function. However, that would be a good way of communicating with me during the AGM if you are having problems. If the person speaking has a bad connection, someone else will take over their report or we'll move on to the next item. There's also an option to enter questions via the Q&A button, but please be aware that we may not have the opportunity to answer them during the AGM, as we have a lot to get through. However, we will follow up on anything raised this way by email after the AGM. I'll now hand over to our Area President, Marilyn Marsh, to open proceedings.
Good morning, Kent Area members, and a very warm welcome to the 59th Kent Area AGM. Although we are now becoming very familiar with Zoom meetings, it will be really strange for the Executive Committee and advisors not to be able to see the audience on this occasion. I would like to thank Pam Hayward for facilitating this meeting for us, and pass you over now to Jenny Spencer, who will give the apologies for absence.
Good morning. I've received apologies from Maureen Edmund, Helen Hare, Iris Shaw, Mary Wheatley and Cicely Finnis. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. We now come to item 3 of the agenda. You will all have received a copy of the minutes for the 58th AGM on the 6th of November 2019. We do have two amendments to these minutes, in that Vanguard and Finsbury Flower Club were represented at last year's AGM. So could I please ask for a proposer and seconder to propose these minutes with that amendment? So please raise your hands electronically to propose and second, and then all members please vote now and submit your vote. Thank you. Has everybody voted? Thank you. We now come to item 4 on the agenda, the Chairman's report. So could I please pass over to Jean Schofield for, sadly, her last report to Kent area. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Even if we're not meeting in person, it's lovely of you all to join us. Here is my final report to you all, friends, as your retiring area chairman. Today's meeting is brought to you through the familiar meeting medium of Zoom that many of us have used throughout this pandemic in 2020. As we were aware, this way of life is now the new norm. My sincere thanks to Jill and Pam for organising this for us. Since a really wonderful demonstration last year by Jill McGregor, I attended Christmas demonstrations at Paddock Wood, Hadlow, and a Christmas dinner at my own club, Wateringbury, which was held at the Holiday Inn, Rootham, a lovely evening catching up with friends. January was my first National Council meeting of the year and Chairman's Day in London, where we would learn the devastating news that the national show had lost £139,000. We were assured that HQ would let clubs know so we could prepare for the onslaught of questions we had to deal with. Sadly, nothing much was explained to clubs, and I had the job of telling you all at our first and last council meeting in February. Naturally, everyone was shocked and angry, just like all the executive were. We asked for questions and comments so we could write to HQ on your behalf with your comments, which we duly did. Jill will update you further on HQ later in the meeting, as with stepping down, I asked Jill to attend the last couple of meetings with HQ instead of me, as she will be dealing with HQ going forward. After council, we were looking forward to kicking off a wonderful year of celebration for Kent's 60th anniversary. JDS E&P Day being the start of a special year, which sadly we had to cancel at the last minute as COVID-19 arrived and threw the country into lockdown. Although many members had to shield, most clubs kept their members motivated by keeping in touch via email, newsletters, and of course, the now famous Zoom meetings. My own clubs I belong to did this on a regular basis, which was a lifeline to chat and see friendly faces. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it certainly worked for the Kent executive, allowing us to keep working on your behalf behind the scenes whilst keeping everyone safe. My sincere thanks go to all my executive members and advisors for their unfailing support and hard work in keeping our area ticking over, so many events had to be cancelled at the last minute, as we had hoped government guidelines would allow us to try and save some, but we had to consider our members' safety as this was paramount. Deposits for venues had to be chased, bookings for 2021 had to be made, as it looked like none of our plans would come to fruition for 2020. We have had many difficult decisions to make this year, HQ being in the red and looking to the 21 areas to help them out. As an area, we felt the best way for us to help was to pay our members' affiliation fees in advance for all our clubs, ensuring their survival for the next 12 months and giving HQ a financial help too. Sadly, some of our clubs are not planning to open till spring 2021. Hopefully we will be back to a more normal way of living, but at this moment in time, it's hard to make plans. I cannot believe that my term of office is up, especially as I retired in December 2019 and was looking forward to visiting all the clubs I had not managed to visit in my first 2 years whilst working, plus all the special events we had spent so long planning to give Kent a 60th anniversary to remember. Like so many others, I have been disappointed, but after working for the NHS, I could have been busy on the front line if still working, but like many, I did my volunteering. When I moved to Kent 27 years ago, one of the first things I did was join my local flower club, and NAFAS has played a huge part for me in making friends in Kent, over the last 27 years and taking part in all the wonderful events we are part of. My sincere thanks to everyone who arranged in Westminster Abbey on behalf of Kent, plus all our talented arrangers who took part in photo shoots in the Flower Arranger this last 12 months. Jackie Arnold, Robin White, Patricia Ellis, Helen Hare and Anne Luckett. Jackie also appeared with her husband's Jeep, showing a glimmer of what should have been our VE celebration, which again was cancelled along with all our wonderful shows. But at least we have them and lots more to look forward to next year. If this year has taught me anything, it is to value friends and family, and that we don't need stuff in our life to survive. We have all slowed down and made time to call friends and neighbours, as it must have been difficult for those on their own under lockdown rules. We lost a lot of flower arranging friends, but we remember them fondly. Evelyn Mercer, Heather Brown, Jo Durkin, Margaret Chidley, Almus Fisher, Frances Bennett and Maureen Howard. If I've missed anyone, I apologise. Please can we take a short pause to remember them and all they did to support Kent. Finally, I must thank Jill Smaggisgill for the virtual flower shows and to all the people who contributed to them and the Kent News articles which have kept us going. 2021 is going to be a much better year for us all, and I again give my sincere thanks to all my executives stepping down today for all your wonderful work on behalf of Kent, and wish the incoming officers good luck in their new posts. Thank you, members, for all the emails and cards you sent wishing me well. It is much appreciated. Thank you to all who gave me advice and support during my time in office, and especially Jill, who was amazing, and I wish her great success as your new chairman. She is a very capable and talented lady, and I know she will be terrific and will take Kent forward to continued success at this difficult time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jean, for your report. And if I could please now ask for a proposer and seconder to raise their hands electronically, and then for members to vote and submit their votes. Thank you. Okay, if everybody's submitted their votes, we'll now move on to item 5 on the agenda, which is sadly the retirement of the new our present chairman. This, I know, has been a very difficult and disappointing year for Jean in her last year as area chairman. We're all looking forward to celebrating our 60th anniversary year in Folkestone with a special tea, special VE Day events in Maidstone, which sadly had to be cancelled, along with all our shows, council meetings, JDS&E Day way back in March when the first lockdown started. I would, however, like to thank Jean for all her hard work while she has been in office and for keeping us so well informed regarding the situation our NAFAS headquarters find themselves in at the moment. It is all very tricky and not the way one would like to end their term of office. Please, members, be assured that when we are able to meet up again, we will thank Jean and all the other members of the executive who are retiring at this AGM, both properly and personally. We usually give them bunches of flowers, and we will certainly do this when we can all meet together. We had hoped to meet with Jean before this AGM so that we could at least have a photograph of us thanking her personally, but sadly, the second lockdown has prevented this. As soon as we are able, we will meet with Jean and present her with our thank yous. Thank you, Jean, very much, and we wish you well in your retirement and hope that we will see you again at all our Kent area events in 2021, without the stress of having to organise anything at all. Our very best wishes to you and your family. We now come to item 6 on the agenda, appointment of the new Kent area chairman, Jill Smaggerscale. I first met Jill when she was training to be a Kent area demonstrator, and when she passed her demonstrator's test in 2013. Jill was a member of North Tunbridge Flower Rangers, where she became Programme Secretary, Competition Officer and Chairman. Jill is now a member of Sevenoaks and Vanguard clubs. Jill's legal background has been very useful to the executive, especially at this time, and to me personally when I was area chairman, so I know she will be a very astute chairman, especially in these uncertain times at NAFAS headquarters. While vice chairman, Jill has organised our members' days, arranged venues for our council meetings, built our Kent area website, and has stood in as area treasurer and editor of the Kent News. As we now have all major positions on the Kent area executive filled, I hope that Jill can now sit back a bit and concentrate on being our new Kent area chairman. We wish her well in her new position, and I believe Jill has sent the badge over to her, so can she now please pin it on? Can I now please ask for a proposer and a seconder for Jill to be our new area chairman? Please raise your hands electronically, vote and submit your votes. Thank you. Thank you all for voting. And we now move on to item 7 on your agenda, which is the introduction and appointment of the new vice chairman. Cecilia Sleep joined Romley Marsh Flower Rangers in 2002 and has subsequently been their secretary and chairman. She is currently the secretary for Vanguard and South Kent representative on the executive committee. Cecilia is currently making arrangements for our Members' Day, which we are all looking forward to in 2021. Could I please ask for a proposer and a seconder for Cecilia to be our new area vice chairman? Please raise your hands electronically, vote and submit your vote. Thank you. If you've all now voted, we now pass on to item 8 on the agenda, formal adoption of the accounts for the year 2018. Jill Smagerscale very kindly took over as acting treasurer from the AGM until September 2019. These accounts have now been inspected and we now need to formally adopt them. So can I please pass over to Jill for the report on this section of the accounts?
Thank you very much, Marilyn, and I have pinned my badge on, so thank you. Those of you who were at the AGM at the end of 2019 will recall that due to some administrative difficulties, it had not been possible to have the accounts inspected. At the AGM, I went through the income and expenditure and explained where they were different from the previous year. The accounts were duly inspected, and other than a few minor amounts being moved from one category to another, there were no substantive changes over what had been presented at last year's AGM. The final accounts for the year have been circulated to all clubs for distribution to members and are available on the area website. This slide that you have in front of you just summarises a few of the items. As it was all gone through in detail at last year's AGM, I do not propose to go through it again now. Unfortunately, like most other things, due to COVID, it was not possible during the year to go through the business requirement of having these accounts formally adopted, and so this now needs to be done. I will therefore hand you back to Marilyn for the formal vote.
Thank you, Jill. Can I please ask for a proposer and seconder for these accounts for the period 2018-2019? Please raise your hands electronically to propose and second, vote and submit your votes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If you've all now voted, we now pass on to item number 9 on the agenda, ratification of Liz Hall as our Kent area treasurer. Liz Hall volunteered to be our area treasurer some months ago and has since then worked tirelessly with our bank and the executive to change all the necessary addresses and signatures, which I know hasn't been easy. I would like to thank her for all her work with this and propose that her appointment is ratified. Can I please ask for a proposer and a seconder for Liz Hall to be appointed the Kent area treasurer? Please raise your hands electronically, vote and submit your vote. Thank you. If you've all now submitted your votes, we will pass on to item 10 of the agenda, when I will hand over to Liz, who will give her treasurer's report for the year 2019-2020. Thank you, Liz.
Good morning, everybody. I realise that not everyone here today may have a copy of the accounts. If that's the case, please email your club chairman or me, or have a look on the area website for a copy. Now, hopefully these slides you're about to see will help you understand what I'm going to say. When looking at the accounts of any organisation I'm a member of, I have to admit that the first thing I look at is usually the bottom line. That is, how much profit or loss there was during the year. And I can tell you straight away that for the year 2019-2020, there is a deficit of £540. You may be thinking, how can that be? As not a lot has happened this year. What was there to spend money on? Well, if you look at the slide on the left-hand side, here you can see. This information on the graph comes from the balances column and shows all the places where money went out, where more money went out than came in for any particular aspect of the accounts. Please remember that in a normal year, these columns would not stand out so obviously as other events, which have not been able to take place this year, and there would have been similar expenditure. As you can see, both the area show and our JDSE and P Day, which had sadly to be cancelled at short notice due to COVID-19, still had outgoings, paying the caterer for goods already purchased in the case of the JDSE and P Day, printing and travelling to meetings in both cases. Looking at the next long line, Kent News, much of the expenditure happened at the beginning of the year when we were let down by the printing company we used to use. Not only were there refunds to clubs who did not receive the winter edition of the magazines, there were also distribution costs as a result of copies arriving too late for the AGM. In spring, setting up and printing by a new printing firm was bound to be more expensive initially. And then, when the JDSE and P Day was cancelled, there were further distribution costs. I know that KM, our Kent News editor, feels that this all reflects badly on her ability to run an efficient and cost-effective magazine. But I can assure her that the executive do not feel this to be the case and fully support her, as I'm sure you do. This year has been exceptional. I'm sure you were pleased with the spring edition and have also enjoyed the online editions. In Kent, we are proud to support our junior clubs and through them the many children who are introduced to flower arranging. They receive a bursary of £15 per member. The final two long columns show, firstly, honorariums given to members of the executive and advisors in recognition of the many hours of their time which they give to run the area. And secondly, the cost of insurance which Kent area now pays on behalf of all clubs. Moving on to the second graph, this shows where money comes from, and again, I have only included those aspects where income exceeded expenditure. As is very obvious, especially this year, the majority of our income comes from affiliation fees, and this represents just on 1,100 affiliation fees. This does not, of course, mean 1,100 members, since some belong to 2 or maybe 3 or more clubs. Those of you who have read the Flower Arranger magazine will have seen that Stephen Lane, the CEO of NAFAS, has made a comment about that. You will notice that there have been very few opportunities this year to make any other money. No raffle, no trading sales at area events. And as you will know, bank interest at this time is very low. You may have noticed we have some donations. Some members were kind enough to say that their entry money for the area show should be a donation to area, and a big thank you to them. As I said, the majority of our income comes from affiliation fees. This year, the decision was taken to ask for a token amount of 50p per member, since unless members are affiliated to NAFAS, they're not covered by our insurance. Letters have been sent out to all clubs asking for this lower fee, which is now due. And thank you to about half our clubs who have paid already. This year, National Headquarters asked us for their affiliation fees to be paid early, not in December, as is usual, and this has now been done. As a result of this payment, which comes out of this year's money, there will of course be a considerable deficit in next year's accounts. But we do hope that you agree that this is what the reserves should be used for. Finally, I will just mention prepayments. This covers the number of bookings carried over from last financial year. And of course, there are accruals, money paid in advance for things which haven't happened, the entries for the area show, fees for a short course, and payments which for a winter edition, which we now have, of the Flower Arranger. Normally, at this point in the meeting, you would expect the Treasurer to announce the affiliation fees for next year. At this point, it's not possible to set the fees that will be due in December 2021. But we hope that in the spring, the outlook will be clearer. And then we will look carefully at the situation and a decision will be made. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Liz, for your very comprehensive report. We now come to the adoption of the accounts for the year 2019 to 2020. Please may I have a proposer and a seconder, and can you raise your hands electronically, and members vote and submit your votes. Thank you. If everybody has now voted, I will pass on to the appointment of a suitable person to inspect the area accounts for 2020 to 2021. The executive is proposing Jason Dennis, who's inspected our previous year's accounts. Please may I ask for a proposer and a seconder to raise their hands electronically, and for all members in favour to vote and submit their votes. Thank you. I hope you've all voted now, which now brings us down to item 11 on your agenda, which is reports from executives and representatives. The first of these is the JDS-E&P committee. And before I ask them to give their reports, as their chairman, I would like to thank them all so much for all their hard work over the past year, organising things and then having to cancel them. It's all very time consuming. Sadly, as the first lockdown started in March this year, we had to cancel our special day in Ditton at the very last minute. A lot of preparation had gone into making this an enjoyable day for our members. We have transferred both the speaker and demonstrator over to 2021 in the hope that we will be able to meet up again in March on the 19th. Please may I now pass to Susan Shaw for her judges' report.
Good morning, members. All of our in-person competitions this year, of course, have been cancelled, and we have found ourselves in a virtual world. I would like to thank every single member who has entered a picture of their work, both for the area competitions and at their clubs. And hopefully you got a post from Jenny Spencer this week to advise you of the Deck the Halls. Jill will be looking forward to seeing all of your lovely Christmas work posted. Every time a member sends in a photograph of their work, their flowers, their gardens, it brings inspiration, a burst of colour and sunshine into somebody else's life. And I know that it has really helped me during the lockdown period, and it will help me going through the winter. I also hope that everyone involved has also enjoyed keeping their skills honed. And maybe, like me, you've also rediscovered some of the treasures that are lurking in your own garden, and maybe also in some of those boxes that are up in the loft or your attic. At next year's JDS-EMP, we are going to be celebrating the skills of our members. So we're inviting every single person that comes along to get involved with an exhibition of their work. And the flyer, hopefully you can see on the screen at the moment, putting on the style. There's going to be two opportunities. The first is to craft a corsage or buttonhole that you can wear. So get creating and something that you can wear on the day. The other item is a handbag. It shouldn't exceed more than 30 centimetres in depth, width and height, and the handbags will be staged on green tabling, so I will need to know how many are done. Hopefully JDS-EMP Day will go ahead, but even if it doesn't, there will be an opportunity to send in your photographs so that everyone can see the work. The plant material to predominate, but for this particular competition, to make it accessible to everybody, you can use fresh, dried, preserved, or even artificial. The flyer with the details is on the area website. The other thing that JDS&E would like to do is know if any of the members would like to connect via Zoom over the winter months for an informal but focused session. The idea is no longer than an hour, but on a particular theme. And with this in mind, we're going to be sending out a survey. It will only take you 5 minutes. And so if you get it, can you please, please, please circulate it out to as many members that are on email as possible, because we really would like to get this going over the winter. And it will be on a number of things. It could be on judging, entering shows. It could be finding out about demonstrating. It could be photography tips. So please do this really short survey so that we know how we can add value to you. Back to you, Marilyn.
Thank you very much, Sue. And I do encourage you to participate in both of those, the survey and the exhibition. And now can I please pass to Susan Thompson for her demonstration rep. report.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Well, as everyone says, this has been a strange and challenging time, and it looks as if it will continue as such for the coming months. The team of Kent area demonstrators have seen their diaries suddenly much freer as clubs have cancelled or postponed bookings due to the impact of the COVID-19 restrictions. A few clubs have met by Zoom or attempted socially distanced meetings. Both methods take a lot of thought, preparation and organisation, but are a way of keeping club members connected and maintaining an interest in NAFAS. Getting together in a club member's garden was fine in the summer months, but not recommended now except for the very hardy, and of course with current restrictions is not permitted. Some Kent demonstrators are happy to do a dem by Zoom or an online video link, and I've been asked by the chairman of the Demonstrators National Committee to put together a list which can then be made available to clubs, and this will be sent out shortly on my behalf by Jenny's successor. And I would ask that club chairmen share it with their committee, especially with their programme secretary, please. A national demonstrators list has also been drawn up, and this has been circulated recently. I hope that club programme secretaries and chairmen in their committees are all aware by now of the amended Extreme Conditions Guideline, which gives guidance about cancelling meetings at short notice due to inclement weather and such like, and of course now the COVID-19 restrictions and rules. We have lots to look forward to in 2021 with rebooked demonstrations at JDSE and P Day in March with Nick Grounds, at the AGM in November next year with Cathy Stangard, and for Members' Day in July, a newly qualified national demonstrator coming from Wales, Delith Price. I think she's coming to Kent for the first time. So we have lots to look forward to, all being well. So in the meantime, keep everything tightly crossed that we can all meet up again in the flesh very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sue, for your report. And could I now please pass to Vicky Hodgkiss for her Speakers' Reps report.
Good morning, everybody. What a disappointing year it's been with regards to Kent area events. As Speakers Rep, I booked and then cancelled our speaker Linda Scholes for JDSE and P Day in March. I have rebooked her for March 2021 with her title Journey into Citizenship, and fingers crossed that we can go ahead with that event. Our Members' Day in July next year will hopefully go ahead, and Tricia Stewart is booked. Her presentation title is A Calendar Girl's Story. She is one of the original Calendar Girls. Let's hope we can all meet up again and enjoy ourselves at these two events. I hope more members might consider becoming a speaker or presenter, and Sue Shaw, as you've heard already, is coming up with ideas to help those of you who are interested. So please fill in this questionnaire she's sending out. Watch this space. Keep safe and well, everybody, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vicky. And we now come to the Education Reps report. And as we said earlier, Cicely has given her apologies. And I would just say Cicely has not enjoyed good health in the last few months. So huge thanks to her, because she has been cancelling and rebooking and cancelling and rebooking. And now, sadly, I'll read her report, which explains it. What a strange year we've had. The year commenced with a show work course with Avril Hill. Sadly, after 2 of the 5 weeks, we had to postpone due to the pandemic. We were 2 weeks, but the day we were due to recommence, Boris introduced the maximum of 6 people meeting. So sadly, we have had to abandon the course until we are permitted to meet in numbers again. Likewise, all further workshops have had to be cancelled for the rest of the year. Hopefully, we will be able to make up for it in the next year and hold 1 or 2 extra workshops. And I would just add at that point, although we are an educational charity and meetings would be permitted, they would only be permitted in COVID secure locations and a lot of the halls we use are not COVID secure. Cicely wishes you all a very happy Christmas and hopes we'll be able to celebrate good health in the new year. So I say thank you to Cicely and pass on to Pauline for her photography reps report, please.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I think photography is one of the few areas that hasn't been so badly affected. We are all missing our flowery friends during this awful pandemic, but it has given members time for other things, including photography. As a result, a fantastic 146 photographs from 13 competitors were entered into this year's competition, compared to 77 photographs in 2019. This included entries from 6 novices, so well done for having a go. The very talented Janet Kent, Associate of the Royal Photographic Society and member of Bexley Photographic Society, has kindly been our judge for the 3rd year in a row. The schedule for 2021 has been published and is available for downloading on the website. Please take a look and have a go in 2021. A good pastime for a dark winter day or night. The winner of the Caroline Resbeck Trophy for 2020 has been awarded to Sue Shaw, who won first prizes in 3 classes: Rhythm, Urban Beauty, and Little Things Mean a Lot. Sue also represented Kent at the national competition, being awarded 3rd for a class called Any Old Iron for an interesting black and white photograph of an old Monopoly board with an iron playing piece, and the novice class entitled Something Beginning with the Letter A. So well done, Sue. Also, congratulations and well done to the following members who were awarded first prizes in the other classes. The Kent, The Garden of England, first prize went to Valerie Presley. Skyscape, Georgina Baker, and in the novice class, my favourite place went to Helen Hare. All of these 6 winning photographs can be viewed on the website. The judges' comments and the full set of results are also on the website. In the last day or two, I've created a video on Facebook showing all of the 2020 entries for everyone to enjoy. Thank you for your support for the competition this year, and I very much look forward to seeing more lovely photographs in 2021. So take a look at the schedule and have a go. Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you, Pauline, for your report and for putting the video onto Facebook, which is great. So I encourage everybody to have a look who is able.
Thank you.
Normally at this time, I would ask any of you in the audience if you have any questions for the JDS EMP committee. I can't do that today, but I can encourage you to fill in Sue's questionnaire, which, as she says, won't take you a moment, or contact any of us. We are all on email and we'll certainly help as much as we can to make the winter a bit brighter. So thank you, everybody. We now pass on to the report from the flower ranging officer, Valerie Fruin. So please may I pass over to Valerie. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you so much for everybody still contributing to the Flower Ranger. I hope that seeing the magazine has brought some colour into our lives this year when you know, we've all been locked down. Unfortunately, numbers for the sales of the Flower Ranger are down. This is not just for Kent, but this is nationally as well. And I would ask the club flower ranging officers to please try and promote the flower ranging when we are in fact back to meeting. I'd like to say a big thank you to everybody that has sent in their 2021 orders so far with their checks. And at present, there's only 5 more clubs that have got to send those in. And I will give them a ring to remind them, as I need to have those in, and send them off to headquarters at the end of next week. We have had several articles in magazines this year from Kent, which is always lovely to see. There have been some wonderful articles, and I hope you've all enjoyed looking at them. Deliveries haven't been too much of a problem. I've had a couple of clubs that have had issues, but they've been quickly resolved. And if you let me know soon enough, then that can be done. And the club that has won the Silver Salver again this year is in fact Romney Marsh, who also won it last year. So congratulations to them. And that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Val, and congratulations once again to Romney Marsh for promoting the Flower Ranger. Lovely magazine, so I encourage you all to promote it with your clubs. Thank you. We now pass on to Liz Hall's last trading report. So over to Liz Hall.
Thank you, Marilyn, and hello again. Trading got off to a very good start in November with the AGM, followed by boxes going to 3 different clubs, visits to the Frost Fair, a church Christmas fair, my own club's open meeting, and a Kent workshop. And so you will understand that I needed to restock in time for the JDSE&P day in March. I just started when the email came through. In case you're thinking of ordering any more stock, don't. It looks like we will have to cancel. With 3 area days, 2 shows, several workshops, and club boxes and events cancelled, everything is safely in store. After 3 years as trading officer, which I have greatly enjoyed, I'm changing roles. Despite urgent appeals, no one felt able to take on the job, and it was suggested that there be no more trading. This, I feel, would be a loss, since usually trading makes a good financial contribution to funds. Last year was an exception for very good reasons. Fortunately, my husband Chris, who many of you know has helped me on the trading tables on a number of occasions, accepted the suggestion that he take on the role for a year. Does this mean I'll be helping him? I hope there is a member or members who would like to help out at future events, if not take on the full role of trading officer, and that you will get in touch with me or one of the area committee and offer your help. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Liz, for your report. And as she said, she is stepping down as our trading officer. But I would like to thank her very much for all her hard work in promoting both the NAFAS products and publications, and for purchasing very tempting items for us all to buy. Liz has, I know, increased the income for trading considerably during her time of office by making up boxes for clubs to sell and for attending area and other functions with her merchandise. And this is much appreciated. Thank you, Liz. As Liz has said, her husband Chris has kindly agreed to take over as trading officer, and we thank him for this and hope his arm wasn't twisted too hard. Could I please ask for a proposer and a seconder for Chris Hall to be our new trading officer? Please raise your hands electronically, vote and submit your vote. Thank you. If you've all now voted, I will pass on to the Junior Liaison Officer's report. And as we said, Iris Shaw is unable to be with us today, but I would like to thank her for all her work with our junior clubs, which has been much appreciated. And I know Freddie helped her a lot with that at all. And could I please ask Jean Schofield to read her report?
Good morning. Here is the Junior Liaison report on behalf of Iris Shaw. Report from Penshurst School Flower Club for 2020, Claire Rees. Well, what a year. We have managed to meet pre-COVID in the spring term. The group had 3 workshops creating a spring daffodil arrangement in a terracotta pot, a contemporary fishbowl design using just wire to hold the stems in place, and a Medalino plaited structure which the NTFA group had a workshop in. The girls have loved creating their designs and are always very proud of their achievements. Unfortunately, we haven't managed to meet since the spring, but look forward to creating again sometime soon. Report from Ham Street Primary Academy and Preble. We started in November with a promise of good things to come as word got round the school that the children who attended the after school club were having fun and that more children wanted to join. And in December, the number of children increased by 4, although we did lose 1 girl who moved from the area. In November, we had our usual arrangements depicting Guy Fawkes with sparklers incorporated into their arrangements for the children to light at home. December was the usual exciting time, and the children made a table decoration with a candle. This was followed by 20+ teachers, including a number of very keen and talented male teachers, staying after school one evening to create a door wreath, which was very popular. I sent a copy of the Kent News to school for each of the teachers, which followed them with their creations. I also sent complimentary ticket to all the teachers, inviting them to an event at Shaddocks, which one day, after the current situation ends, we hope they will use, and maybe we will gain some new members. In January, the children created an arrangement in a basket, which they really enjoy doing, as mums like to receive a basket from their little ones. February was the time for a Valentine arrangement with the usual red flowers and a heart moulded from a pipe cleaner, which was easy for them to do. In March, we started thinking about our entries for the Kent County Show and the Garden Show at Detling, with the children coming up with some good ideas. Unfortunately, these didn't take place. We also did a pavé arrangement with the children, bringing in a square metal or wooden box. Their creations were amazing, and we thoroughly enjoyed work. Unfortunately, March was to be our last meeting for the rest of the academic year, and as I write this, we are still no further forward with our meetings, although I am working here of giving them individual bundles of foliage, flowers and a candle, which I will take to the school at the beginning of December so that they can create an arrangement at home. Report from Hadlow Juniors, Iris Shaw. Lots of glitter and glue at Christmas time, and we all had fun. We went back in February to do Valentine's Day, making hearts out of cardboard and covering them with leaves. The children were looking forward to our show. It has been a difficult year for everyone with trying to keep us all safe. I have enjoyed being the junior liaison officer for the past 5 years. I think it is time to stand down now. I would like to thank all the children for doing such good work and supporting their clubs and also supporting me. Lastly, I would like to thank Freddie for all his help and support over the past 5 years. That's the end of Iris's report.
Thank you, Jean, for reading that out, and again, thank you to Iris for that. I'm very pleased to say that Anne Preble is to be our new Junior Liaison Officer. Anne is the leader of Ham Street Primary Academy Flower Junior Flower Club and has worked tirelessly with the children. May I please ask for a proposer and a seconder? Please raise your hands electronically and for all members to vote and submit your vote. Thank you. Thank you all for voting. I now pass on to the Kent News editor, KM, who will give her report. Thank you.
Hello.
KM, can you give your report, please? Are you there, KM? Can you hear me?
I'm here. I can hear you.
Oh, we can hear you now. So could you please give your report?
Apologies for that. Hello, everybody. As the editor for the Kent News, my report is brief, merely to thank everyone for supporting the newsletter format throughout our 2020 difficult year. I would like to think that by the spring of 2021, we can resume near normality, enjoying meetings, events, and other floral activities. I forward good health to everyone and good luck to our new Kent Area Chairman, Jill Smagglescale, who will have a very difficult job of uplifting our spirits with great ideas and support for all the Kent Flower Clubs. Finally, Christmas is around the corner, and I have been reminded of a song with the words, "I wish you a hopeful Christmas and I wish you a brave new year." I'm sure these words resonate with everyone for 2020/2021. Finally, a big thank you from me.
Thank you very much, KM. I know it's been a tricky year for you with the Kent News, but thank you for soldiering on and for keeping us all connected. I know we've all enjoyed the electronic version of Kent News as well, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
We now pass on to the media and the e-media report from Susan Feynman, please.
Good morning. This is my last report for media as my 3-year term of office has come to an end. Our social media has been very quiet during the year. Our annual area events have been cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic, so I have not had any notices, photographs or videos of these events to post on our official social media pages, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and therefore not had the opportunity to showcase the wonderful creativity of our members in Kent. In addition, with no educational workshops allowed to be held, there has been no publicity for these either. Fortunately, the photographic competitions and virtual shows hosted by the area photography representative Pauline Pearce and Vice Chairman Jill Smagglescale have provided some wonderful images for us to enjoy on both the official page and the Kent Area of NAFAS forum page. As an advisor to the Area Executive Committee, I have not been informed by them of any specific items that they wish to be publicised, nor have I been invited to attend any committee meetings this year. I have not been advised of any information from NAFAS headquarters for use on our social media. I wish all the best to the incoming media advisor, Mary Young, and urge all our members in Kent Area of NAFAS to support her by continuing to produce such glorious designs and floral work to impress and inspire our social media followers throughout the floral world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susan, for your report and for being our media officer. All this technology is moving very quickly nowadays, so thank you for keeping us all in touch online. This has been much appreciated. It's now with great pleasure that I introduce Mary Young from Deal and District Flower Club as our new media and e-media officer. Could I please ask for a proposer and a seconder for Mary Young to be our new Kent Area Media and e-media officer? Please raise your hands, vote and submit your vote. Thank you. If you've all now voted, we now pass on to the county show report. And Mary Wheatley sadly is unable to be with us today. So please can I ask Liz Hall to read her report.
This is Mary Wheatley's report. Due to the unfortunate cancellation of this year's county show in July, we have, with the agreement of the two judges, transferred the 2020 schedule to the 2021 show in July. This means that all the committee's hard work in producing the schedule will not be wasted. There will be schedules printed next year, but those of you who have kept your 2020 schedule will only have to alter the dates. Staging will be on Thursday, the 8th of July, and the show open to the public from Friday, the 9th of July until Sunday, the 11th of July, 2021. The judges tell me they're looking forward to coming to next year's show, which we all hope will take place without any further problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz, for reading that, and thank you to Mary Wheatley for her report. And we now move on to a report from Mig Kimpton for the area show. And sadly, Mig isn't able to be with us, so I'm asking Jenny Spencer, please, to read his report.
This is the area report read on behalf of Mig Kimpton. We're pleased to hear that the Kent Garden Show is now planning a show for next year at Detling Showground, and we've been invited to take part. All planning for any shows for next year must be within the social distancing guidelines. Therefore, the show team is looking how we can achieve this and what we can deliver. We will now work on this and will announce what we're planning in January. I, like you, I am sure, want to get back on a showground, practicing our floral skills and publicising our activities. Let's see how we can do this. At this difficult time, the area show team send our very good wishes to you. Stay safe and carry on flower arranging. This is the end of the report.
Thank you, Jenny, for reading that, and to Mig for his report. We now come on to item 12 of the agenda, retirements and appointments to the executive. Sadly, the first one to be who is retiring is Jenny Spencer. I would like on your behalf to thank Jenny so very much for all her sterling work as our Kent Area Secretary for the past 6 years. Jenny works so very hard, keeping us all in touch with the happenings across the area and keeping our club chairman informed and reminding them of all events. Thank you very much, Jenny, and I'm pleased to say that Jenny will still be dealing with the sale and preparation of our tickets for area events. I am now very pleased to introduce our new Kent Area Secretary, Mary Young from Deal. Can I please ask for a proposer and seconder for Mary Young to be our Kent Area Secretary? Please raise your hands, vote and submit your vote. Thank you. Thank you for voting, and we now pass on to the South Kent Area Rep, Cecilia Sleep. As Cecilia is now our new area Vice Chairman, she has to step down as the South Kent Area Representative, and I am very pleased to say that Rosina Horton from Folkestone Flower Club will be taking over. Can I please ask for a proposer and a seconder for Rosina Horton to be the South Kent representative? Please raise your hands, vote and submit your vote. Thank you. If you've all now voted, I pass on to the West Kent area representative. Jan Wedden has retired after many years, and I would like to thank Jan very much for all her help and support to the area while she has been the executive rep for West Kent. As we said previously, proper thanks will be made personally to her at a later date. Sadly, we haven't a representative for that area, so I would encourage you to go back to your clubs. I'm sure there is somebody in the West Kent area who could fill this post, which is not at all onerous. So we look forward to having that vacancy filled soon. Similarly, the North Kent representative, Helen Hare, has come to the end of her term of office, and we will thank her personally in due course. Again, nobody has come forward to fill this post, and there must be somebody in the North Kent area of clubs who could fill this post. So I would encourage you again to ask your members when we're allowed to open, or even send an email around to see if we can fill that vacancy as well to come onto the executive. Thank you. We're now down to item 13 of the agenda, ratification of Katrina as a minute secretary. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce her surname, but welcome, Katrina. Katrina volunteered to take over as minute secretary during the year, so we now need to officially co-opt her as our minute secretary to the Kent Area Executive, and the appointment needs to be ratified. A badge will be handed to her again when we're able. So please may I ask for a proposer and a seconder. Please raise your hands electronically, and all members in favour to vote and submit your vote. Thank you. I will now go through all the complete executive just quickly. Your new chairman is Jill Smaggers-Gale. The vice chairman is Cecilia Sleep. Secretary Mary Young. Treasurer Liz Hall. JSE chairman Marilyn Marsh. Executive members for North Kent and West Kent vacancies. South Kent Rosina Horton. East Kent Pam Holness. Minute Secretary Katrina, JSE Chairman Marilyn Marsh, Area Trading Officer Chris Hall, Kent News Editor KM Williams, Area Flower Ranging Officer Val Fruin, Junior Liaison Anne Preble, Area Media Officer Mary Young, Judges Representative Susan Shaw, Demonstrators Representative Susan Thompson, Speakers Representative Vicky Hodgkiss, Education Rep Cicely Finnis, Photography Rep Pauline Pierce, County Show Chairman Mary Wheatley, Area Show Chairman Mig Kimpton, Ticket Administrator Jenny Spencer, Equipment Officer Arthur Claptworthy. We need now to ratify our new area executive, so please may I ask for a proposer and a seconder. Please raise your hands electronically, and all members Thank you. I hope you've all now voted for the area executive, and I wish them all well in their new positions. We're now down to item 15 on your agenda, the announcement of President-elect. And I'm very pleased to announce that Jenny Spencer will be our President from November 2021. So I welcome Jenny, and I'm pleased you're not going too far away. So Jenny will take over next November. Thank you very much. We now come to questions received. I will read out the questions and Jill Smaggersgale will read out the replies. I would just make one comment. Jill is reading them out, but she has liaised with all the executive for these answers. The first question has come from Iris Woolard of North Tunbridge Flower Rangers. And she asks, in the light of recent problems, will we be kept fully informed about Osborne House and all decisions made by the powers that be? The second question is very similar, so I'm joining them together. Sylvia Cheeseman, who's from Gravesend Floral Art and an honorary member of Kent. Further to the NAFAS AGM, could you clarify the matter on the sale of Osborne House? In the CEO's report, he states they will resume the revision of the Articles of Association and the completion of the feasibility study and a decision on the realisation of Osborne House. However, under any other questions and replying to David Thompson regarding the sale, Christina Curtis said that following a meeting in August, Osborne House would be sold and area chairman had been briefed. As a comment, if I may, I am very sad and disappointed at the recent board resignations of what are, to many, our friends and peers. So could I ask Jill to read our response, please?
First of all, I'd like to thank you ladies for your questions. I was going to comment on some of the issues you raise in the next agenda item, but I am happy to address them now. First, this has been a difficult year for the Board of Directors. As Sylvia mentions, there have been some recent board resignations, and most recently, our National Chairman, Christina Curtis, resigned. The reasons behind these resignations are confidential to the people concerned and have not been shared with the area chairman. However, what is clear is that dealing with the implications of having board members resign has taken time to resolve, and so moving forward with the business of the charity has been held up. I do not know why Christina Curtis suggested that a decision on the sale had been taken and that area chairman had been briefed, as in fact no decision has been taken. I have checked this with Jean and read the minutes of the relevant meetings. I have also attended a meeting of area chairman in the last couple of weeks at Jean's request, and at that meeting it was clearly stated that the position was as the CEO had reported at the AGM. There was a so-called briefing note issued to chairman in August, which consists of 2 pages and really just sets out the need to investigate options and the timeline. There is no recommendation, there is no plan, and there is no decision in that briefing note. So where we are is that the review of the Articles of Association is not complete, nor is the feasibility study. The feasibility study is looking at a lot of issues, which include, should Osborne House be sold? Or what are the other options? If it is sold, what are the requirements going forward? How can they be met? What will happen to the money raised by a sale? As part of the study, it is true to say that the building has been valued, but you would expect that as you need that information to inform on the decision. If it was only going to be worth a very small amount of money, then there is no point going down that route at all anyway. The latest news I have is that this study, the feasibility study, is expected to be completed in January, and that area chairman will be briefed at the NAC meeting at the end of January. When there is something to report, I will report it at council, whether live or electronically, and if it's urgent, that will be via an email rather than waiting for the next meeting. And we would encourage chairman to pass it on to club members. I hope that's addressed your questions, but do feel free to contact me if you have ongoing concerns. Thank you.
Jill. And the second question is from Mavis Jones of Gravesend Floral Arrangement Society. My question to NAFAS would be, why is the organisation not making members aware of the technology available to all members who have the internet? They could be supplying information about YouTube demonstrations by various demonstrators. I am concerned that if clubs have not kept in touch with their members, then there will be a large dropout attending as and when we can get back to some normality. Also, regular club meetings could be organised online through one of the websites. So could I please over to Jill to answer that one on our behalf?
Thank you, Mavis, for your question. It does raise a lot of issues. I will try to address them all, but we do have a limited period of time, and actually these are quite big issues. You say that your question is to NAFAS, but what is NAFAS? There is headquarters, there is the area, and there is your club. Each club is autonomous, and each area is autonomous. This means that headquarters can't tell clubs what to do, and actually area can't tell clubs what to do. We can all only advise. There is also the issue of contact with members. Neither headquarters nor area have the contact details of members. Only the clubs have that. Available information is sent to club chairman with a request to get it to their members. Your question suggests a frustration that more has not been done. Before looking at what needs to be done in more detail, we should remember that virtually everyone in the organisation is a volunteer. Headquarters does employ some people, but it's only about 5 people, and at least one of those is part-time, and 4 of them have been furloughed during the year because of lockdown. At the start of lockdown, everyone in the organisation had the same issues as everyone in the country. Is my family safe? How do I get my shopping? Etc. Also, many of our volunteers fell into the high risk category, giving them more cause for concern. Everyone has said it, but I would again remind you that these have been unprecedented times. No one knew in March that we would still be under restrictions in November. And we have all been learning as we go along. Who had even heard of Zoom at the start of the year? And now it's a word we use every day. With the sun shining and as things started to relax, there were the opportunities to meet in gardens. As September approached, it did look like we would be able to start to reopen with social distancing. And indeed, some clubs did, because they had COVID secure venues, reducing the need to look at electronic solutions. You ask about why NAFAS are not making members aware of the technology available. Again, we do not have the ability to contact club members other than via the club committee, our website, and our Facebook page. If you know someone in your club has technology issues, then please do offer them support and point them in the direction of those resources. One size will not fit all. What the problems are in the rural locations with poor broadband is different to the problems in the towns. If any member is on Facebook, they can connect to the various flower forums in addition to our area page, Kent Area of NAFAS. There is the NAFAS official page. There's one called Flower Arrangers. There's International Friends of Floral Art and Design, which used to be called Friends of NAFAS. There's Church Flower Arrangers. There's the Flower Arranger magazine page, Flower Arrangers and Their Gardens. The list is actually endless. There are lots of details of online demonstrations appear on those forums. If you see a good one and think other members would enjoy it, then go to the Kent Area of NAFAS forum page and share the link so that everyone else can see it. It's actually too big a job for one person to scour these sites looking for links. You mentioned YouTube. If you are a subscriber to the NAFAS YouTube channel and you see a new demonstration posted which you enjoyed, then you can post on the forum to direct other people to it. We don't always get notified that they are there. There is just one reminder on that, is we do not allow promotion of commercial events on our page. So NAFAS Dems are okay, Dems from other clubs, NAFAS demonstrators, but not the commercial ones. We do not post details of online Dems on our website, as there are actually so many that the news about Kent would get lost. However, we can advertise on the What's On page of our website anything you do as a club online if you are going to welcome visitors to attend, just the same as we did for your conventional Dems. Just send your poster in and it will go up in that section. We have tried to keep clubs and members interested with our virtual shows, and these have been popular. We know some clubs have been very good at promoting them to their members, and where a member does not have facilities to send an electronic photo via email, someone within the club has helped out. There is another show out now, so do spread the word to your club members and do help those who need technical assistance. What is clear now, which was not clear earlier in the year, is that we are going to be under restriction for a lot longer than anyone previously thought. I know some clubs have embraced technology, and I would particularly commend Waterbury, Maidstone and Vanguard for this. I rushed to say there may be others, but those were the ones I knew about. I will shortly be in contact with all club chairmen, finding out what is already being done and putting together some ideas so that we can all learn from each other as to what works and what doesn't work. Sue Thompson and Sue Shaw touched on what the JDSE&P committee are doing to get us online in the new year. And we now have an Area Zoom Pro account, which can be used by clubs to meet electronically. Details of that have been sent to the club chairman, and we already have 2 clubs set up and ready to go. Sorry, that was a very long answer to a short question, but as I said, it did raise a lot of issues. So thank you, Mavis.
Thank you, Jill, for that and for answering the questions. I'm afraid we can't answer any more at the moment, but if anybody has any burning issues they'd like to share with the executive, please do get in touch with any of us. I now come to item 17, an introduction from the incoming chairman. Jill, over to you.
Thanks, Marilyn. And this will be quite short, you'll be pleased to hear. My intention was to start these comments with an update on what I will call, for want of a better phrase, the HQ issues. But much of that was covered in the answer to the questions from Iris and Sylvia. Just to complete that aspect, I would formally report that NAFAS now has a new chairman, Catherine Keir, who is very keen to move the organisation forward. At the recent NAC meeting, she said, "Let's be positive and forward-looking and move on constructively. Let us leave behind these experiences, having learnt from them, and put our energies into restructuring and growing forward. Let us emerge stronger, more forward-looking and assured of our future." Turning now to Kent Area, this has been a difficult year for everyone, and in particular for Jean in her last year not being able to attend many things. So thank you, Jean, for everything you have done. We started the year planning some fabulous area events, and I know your club committees had great plans for you at your clubs, and all of this came to nothing, which is sad on so many levels. But we are where we are, and we have to look to the future. To keep you busy as the dark nights draw in, we have launched a new virtual show, Deck the Halls. As usual, you can do anything you like and send your photos in. If you're inspired by something from the recent flower arranger, have a go at that. If it's your front door wreath, your table decoration, a bauble that you've designed, anything. Even if you do not enter, do check the website after the closing date to see all the fabulous designs I know we're going to receive. After that, you've done that, you'll have time to start working on your buttonhole or handbag ready for JDS&E Day. We will be trying more things online, but there is nothing like that personal touch. And I, for one, cannot wait until we can all get together in the same room, laugh, smile, and enjoy all the good things that our art gives us. Before I pass back to Marilyn to close the meeting, I would ask you to take a moment to think about the people who work so hard to keep your clubs going. It's very easy to criticise and complain, but when you have attended something, whether in real life or virtually, that you enjoyed, do smile at the committee and do offer to help in some small way. As you know, every little helps. This year has been particularly hard and frustrating for your club committees, so please bear with them as they help our organisation get back on its feet under the new normal. The executive and the area advisors are there to help, and we will do all we can. So can I ask you all to raise a metaphorical glass to all the volunteers throughout the organisation? Thank you and cheers to everybody who works for NAFAS and our floral art. Finally, I wish you all a very happy Christmas and above all, a peaceful and healthy new year. And as it says in the song, we'll meet again. Marilyn.
Thank you, Jill, for that. Firstly, we're now down to item 18. I would like to thank Pam Hayward very much for guiding us through this virtual AGM so professionally. Thank you. This is very much appreciated by us all. Thank you to all the members who have logged in to hear our news over the past year. And I can see there are 52 participants, so thank you for those. I hope this has been a reminder of our happy times together and give us the hope that we will soon be able to meet up again with our love for floral art. I cannot believe I'm saying this so early, but may I wish you and your families a very happy Christmas, and especially this time a happy and healthy 2021. We will all come out the other side of this horrible pandemic, and rest assured that when we do, your executive committee will have special and enjoyable events for you to enjoy. Please continue your love of flower arranging. Join in with the virtual events that your executive and JDS&E committee put on for you. Keep well and stay safe. I'm now going to read out a poem that I think Sue Shaw circulated to the Judges Committee, because I think it's quite apt. It's by Kathleen Colquhoun from Londonderry. Just to say a massive thank you to those who give their time creating beautiful arrangements to share with us online. We miss the tea and coffee and the yummy tray bakes too, but until the virus goes away, rich tea bickies will have to do. And what about the raffle, the highlight of the night? We all kept our fingers crossed, holding our tickets tight. The days will come back again when everyone can meet, and sure enough, I'll be there, sitting in the front seat. Well, thank you again, everybody, for attending our virtual AGM. I announce that next year's AGM will be staged on Wednesday, the 3rd of November, 2021, and I do hope we'll all be back in the hall at Ditton. So thank you all very much. Stay well, keep safe, and we look forward to seeing you all again in person very soon. Thank you and goodbye.